welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to cover the pros and cons of living in Tucson, Arizona. Let's jump in. Hey, I'm Rich, and if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about lifestyle, real estate, and new builds in Tucson, Arizona, then you have come to the right place. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the very first to learn everything you want to know. My family has lived in Tucson for over 200 years. It's the city that I love most and the city that I know best. Having over 15 years of experience as both a certified real estate appraiser and a realtor, I get calls and texts every single day from people just like you who are looking to make a move, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're moving today or a year from today, let's get connected. You can call, text, email, or schedule a free Zoom consult. I'm happy to help make your move smooth anywhere in town. All right, so first let's jump into the pro column. At number one on the pro column is the affordability. Now, I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of clients that are moving from out of state, primarily places like Washington, California, places on the East Coast. Predominantly, they're coming from places that are much higher in price, higher in average price than Tucson. Now, couple ahas that I have working with so many of those clients is that they approach the cost and the affordability in Tucson like they just hit the lottery. And I think when you look at the statistics of our average price point here in Tucson versus the national average, or specifically where people are relocating from, the states that people are leaving, Arizona and specifically Tucson is poised to be one of the most affordable places on the West Coast. At number two, we can't make a pros column about living in Tucson, Arizona without mentioning how beautiful it is here in the desert. We've got 5 different mountain ranges that surround Tucson, and I'm going to do my best to remember all 5 of these. We've got the Santa Catalina Mountains, the Santa Rita Mountains, the Rincon Mountains, the Tucson Mountains, and the Tortolita Mountains. Now, one of my favorite things about living in Tucson is from the middle of Tucson, 360 degrees, you can mountains. Now, the biggest, closest mountains to Tucson are the Santa Catalina Mountains, which are huge. They're over 9,000 feet in the air. So you've got a great view pretty much anywhere in the city of mountains. Number 3 on the pro column is the mild winters. We've got about 8 months of very temperate weather that range between 60 and 70 degrees during the day, clear skies, beautiful weather, and it's a great time to enjoy the outdoors. So whether you're going for a hike, going for a mountain bike, you like to golf, you like to just take a walk, there are a lot of reasons why people enjoy coming to Arizona, and specifically Tucson, because of that mild wintertime weather that most of the year we get very temperate weather that allows us to enjoy the outdoors. Now at number 4, Tucson is a very active community. I love to stay active. I run and weight lift, and I'm training for some marathons, but a lot of what I do workout wise is outdoors. And when I'm running, it's cool because if you're an active person, you see a lot of other people being active. So whether it's playing tennis, pickleball, walking, biking, jogging, walking their dog, it's a very vibrant community, and it definitely has an active emphasis, an emphasis on activity. I think a lot of people in Tucson enjoy that. At number 5, Tucson has a rich cultural history. A lot of it being influenced by Native American, Mexican, and Spanish traditions, but that really has played a big part in the style of houses that we see, the architecture, and even the restaurants and the food. There is a lot of history to take in here. Something cool about the history that I'm proud of is my family was part of the pioneering family that settled here in Tucson when they immigrated from Mexico over 200 years ago and became one of the first department store owners in Tucson. Another cool fact that not a lot of people know is my great-grandfather was one of the 52 delegates to sign the state constitution back in 1912. A lot of our family history is kind of woven into Tucson. We have a plaza that was dedicated to my grandfather's that is located in downtown Tucson called Hakame Plaza. And our family is one of many pioneering families that really kind of helped build the early stages of Tucson and played an important role in the history of it. At number 6, we've got a treat for anyone who enjoys stargazing. There is actually a light ordinance in Tucson and some of the surrounding areas that really limits the light pollution so that you can really enjoy the night sky. I live right in the middle of the city, and for living right in the middle of the city, I can still sit in my backyard, look up at the skies at night, and enjoy the moon, the sparkle in the sky. You can see plenty of stars. And when you go into some of the suburban areas like Oro Valley, Catalina Foothills, Vail, Sarita, the sky just opens up. You just can see so many stars, and it's really a sight. Now, number 7 is Tucson being a laid back environment. Now, I personally think this is a big one because I've traveled in quite a few different cities and experienced what the different cultures are, the different pace. I think that the best way to describe Tucson is it's like the biggest small town you've ever been in. It is a big city, and it's got everything that you would hope a big city has. But it's also got that small town charm where people shake your hand and people converse with you. People say hi and wave to you, complete strangers. There's just a charm to the culture and the people in Tucson. It still has maintained that kind of small town feel. Now, even though it is a larger city, the second largest city in the state, it still has a very relaxed vibe. It's not a super hustle bustle city. Now, yes, there is some traffic. You'll have some hustle bustle in terms of where you live. But in general, I would say the people that live in Tucson are not hustle bustle mindset. Number 8, and this is one of my favorites because me and my wife are huge foodies. We are a destination for great food. Now, if you're anything like me, I love to go check out new restaurants, and Tucson was actually named the city of gastronomy. Now, if you don't know what gastronomy means, like I didn't, go ahead and Google it. It essentially just means that it's a great destination for foodies. We've got all sorts of different restaurants to check out, from Peruvian food, South African food, incredible Mexican food, lots of American bars and grills. We've got higher end scratch kitchens. We've got everything under the sun that you could ask for. And it's sprinkled kind of all over town, where I would say the epicenter is probably Northwest Tucson and downtown. Coming in at number 9 is another really important one, and that's cost of living. Cost of living in Tucson, beyond housing, cost of living in Tucson is still lower than the national average. And I think that that's why a lot of people, coupled with the fact that our real estate prices are much lower than a lot of destinations that people are moving from, the cost of living beyond real estate is also lower than the average, which is also very appealing. Now, coming in at number 10 is education. The University of Arizona, which is one of the largest schools in the state, the college is located in central Tucson, and it has a wide range of different programs, educational programs, sports programs. It really is a large, beautiful campus that offers a whole lot of collegiate activity to take a look at, whether you're a student or whether you're someone who enjoys being involved in collegiate sports or supporting your local team. So here we go. Now we're going to jump into cons. And at number 1 on the cons is going to be the summers. Woo! The summers in Arizona, and specifically Tucson, are hot. When it hits triple digits for those 2, 3, sometimes 4 months where we've got pretty consistent 100+ degree days, man, it can be a lot. It can make you rethink your decision. Most of us tend to stay indoors as much as possible. If we do have to venture out of our house or go somewhere, we tend to do it pretty quickly as we run from our house to our car, from our car to wherever we're gonna go grocery shopping or whatever. Those summer months can definitely be challenging for sure. Now, not only the toll that those summer months take on your body, but for the people that live in Tucson, it also means a pretty substantial increase in their energy bill to cool their residents. Now at number 2 are the freeway systems. Now there's really only 2 freeways that service Tucson, and that's I-10 and I-19. Now these, the way that they are oriented, there are some large areas of Tucson that aren't really convenient to where the I-10 or I-19 corridors are. And those other places would be like Catalina Foothills and Oro Valley in the northwestern part of Tucson. There really is no convenient way to get to I-10 from those locations or any freeway. So that would mean you're typically looking at about a 20 to 30 minute commute from those destinations just to get to the freeway, and then wherever you have to take the freeway from there. Coming in at number 3, we do get monsoon seasons. Those are torrential storms that happen between the months of June and September. And with those storms come a lot of rain. A lot of rain really, really fast. So fast that they can create these flash floods. So if your house is in a floodplain, even if it's a floodplain that's very minimal, during a flash flood, there can be a rush of water that can cause property damage. It can shut down roads. It can get you stranded in the middle of the street as the streets flood. It can cause a lot of problems. Now, number 4 is limited job market. Now, even though Tucson still has a strong presence in both education, healthcare, and government jobs, overall, the job market in Tucson is pretty limited, especially when you compare it to larger cities like Phoenix. At number 5 is desert wildlife. It really doesn't matter where you live in the city, you're gonna have some wildlife encounters. I live right in the middle of the city, right next to the University of Arizona. It doesn't get much more city than this. And even still, I'll go out on a morning run and I have ran right next to a coyote, which is a wild dog. And, you know, he just followed the washes in or the road. Somehow he got into the center of town. I've seen javelinas right in the middle of town at our local park, just across the street. So you're gonna get wildlife even in the middle of the city. Definitely gonna get wildlife in some of the suburban areas. They tend to not really bother you, but it is definitely something there. You've got javelinas. We even have jaguars that are local to some of the surrounding mountain ranges, not in Tucson, but in some of the surrounding mountain ranges. Mountain lions, bobcats, you know, centipedes, tarantulas, rattlesnakes. So that desert wildlife is here and you most likely will encounter it. At number 6 is allergies. Now, because the desert is so dry, typically it's regarded as a great place for people that have allergies. Now, I think overall that could be the case, but in this case, there are times in the spring and the fall where there's a significant increase in pollen because of the native and non-native plants in the area that can definitely cause some more severe allergic issues. Now that really spikes up in the monsoon seasons when gusts of wind are high and that pollen really starts to spread around and circulate. So anyone with a respiratory issue or an allergy issue, that's gonna be a big challenge for you. Now at number 8 is public transportation. There is a public transportation bus system as well as a trolley car system downtown and in some of the really urban areas. But in general, it's pretty limited. You can work those routes in order to accommodate your travel plans within the city. But overall, for the size of the city and the amount of passengers, it is definitely limited. At number 9 is we get these intense dust storms occasionally during a monsoon season where these huge dust clouds are spun up. They're called haboobs. And I know it's a funny name, but these haboobs create a huge dust storm and really mess with the air quality. They can shut down streets, they can shut down portions of town, and they can make it really difficult for people with allergies or anyone with a respiratory issue. And at number 10, we have HOA regulations. Now, because of a lot of the suburban areas being built up over the last 20 or 30 years, many of those locations, many of those developments are part of an HOA. And the HOAs can be restrictive in terms of what type of plants you can have in the front yard, even the backyard, what color your house can be, what type of landscaping you can have, any types of additions license, if you want to put a pool in. So there can be some red tape that you have to deal with in a lot of the communities surrounding Tucson and some of the suburban areas specifically. And finally, at number 11 is water scarcity. Now, because we live in the desert, it is a very common theme that water is scarce. And they haven't really come up with a plan that has eliminated that scarcity. So that could create some issues looking deeper into the future around the future of water and the scarcity of water as we move further in time. There it is. Now you know the pros and cons of living in Tucson. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and be sure you're subscribed for more. As is tradition, I like to end these with a little bit of inspiration. And today, the quote goes like this: "The purpose of pain is to move us into action, not make us suffer." As a final reminder, whether you're moving today or whether you're moving a year from today, you can call, text, email, or schedule a free Zoom consult. Let's get connected. I'd love to help make your move smooth anywhere in town. And until next time, I hope to see you around town.